Hey folks, when I retired, I thought I knew what retirement was going to actually look like. I pictured relaxing more, having a lot fewer responsibilities, and really finally having the time to do the things that I wanted to do. Not what everybody else wanted, but what I wanted. And while retirement has been great in a lot of ways, I also discovered something I don't think enough people talk about. Retirement isn't just about having more free time. It's really about finding something meaningful to do with your time. So, exactly 1 year ago today, August 4th, 2025, I decided to try something completely new. I started a YouTube channel. Now, I wasn't a young person trying to become an influencer. I was retired. I was learning everything from scratch. Filming, editing, making thumbnails, writing scripts, coming up with titles, and trying to figure out what people wanted to watch. And I'm still learning these things. And yes, editing just might be the death of me yet. But here's the thing. When you start something new at this stage of life, it hits different. You're not doing it for a career. You're not doing it for fame. You're doing it because you want to stay alive inside. Mentally, creatively, emotionally. And honestly, folks, I didn't expect how much this would challenge me. There were days I felt like I was back in school trying to learn something completely foreign. There were moments I'd stare at the computer thinking, I've got no idea what I'm doing. And I still feel that way sometimes. But there was also excitement. That spark you get when you're learning something brand new. It reminded me that even in retirement, we can still feel that sense of discovery. Today I want to share what I learned after my first year on YouTube. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that retirement doesn't mean we stop growing. A lot of people think retirement, it's the finish line. They just sit down and wait to die. Folks, that's not the way I want to go out. I think it's actually a new starting point. You finally have time to explore things you've always wanted to try. For me, thanks to my son-in-law, who also creates videos, I decided to give this a shot. Was it easy? Oh, hell no. There were plenty of times when I wondered if anyone was even watching or if the effort was worth it. There were nights I sat at my computer editing and thought, why am I doing this? But every time I made a video, I learned something new. And that's something I think many retirees forget. You're never too old to learn something new. You're never too old to challenge yourself. And you're never too old to surprise yourself either. And let me add this. Learning something new at our age, it feels different than learning when you're young. When you're young, you learn because you have to. When you're older, you learn because you choose to. And that choice makes the experience a lot richer. It makes every small victory feel bigger. It makes every mistake feel like part of the adventure instead of a setback. Over my first year, I made 379 videos and 206 shorts. Man, I made videos about retirement, saving money, Social Security, expenses, budget shopping, and the challenges people face after leaving the workforce. Some videos did okay. Some didn't get very many views at all. I'm talking single-digit views here. That's part of creating anything, really. But one video surprised me. Folks, it reached over 181,000 views. That one video reminded me that sometimes you never know what's going to connect with people. You just have to keep showing up. You have to keep putting your voice out there. And sometimes the internet taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, this one here, it really mattered. And I'll tell you something else. That big video didn't give me just views. It gave me some confidence. It made me realize that people do care about these topics. People do want to hear from someone who's actually living retirement, not just talking about it from a distance. You know, it showed me that real stories still matter. If you want to watch that video, it's called 5 Things That Quietly Ruin Retirement Nobody Warns You About. And the first thing I learned is that people want honesty. They don't want someone pretending to have all the answers. And folks, I've told you this before, I do not have all the answers. Retirees want real experiences. What does retirement actually feel like? What expenses surprise you? What mistakes should you try to avoid? What changes when the paycheck stops? Folks, those are conversations that matter. Those are the things people actually need to hear about. You know, the second thing I learned is that quality matters more than quantity. You know, in my first year, I focused a lot on creating more videos, but going forward, I want to focus on creating better videos. Videos that provide real value. Videos that help someone who's planning retirement or they're already living in retirement. Videos that make people feel less alone in this stage of life. And here's something else I didn't expect. This channel gave me purpose. It gave me structure. It gave me something to look forward to. And folks, that's important. Because when you retire, you lose a lot of the structure you had before for decades. There's no more clocking in, no more deadlines, no more coworkers. You have to build your own rhythm. And this channel, it helped me do that. The biggest lesson from this past year isn't about YouTube. It's about having purpose. You know, when you retire, you don't lose your value. You don't stop having something to contribute. You may not go to work every day anymore, but you still have experiences, knowledge, and stories that can help others. For me, this channel became a way to share what I've learned. And whether a video gets 100 views or 100,000 views, if it helps someone, then it was worth making. So, what comes next? Well, I'm going into my second year. I'm changing my approach. I'm not going to worry about making hundreds of videos. I'm going to focus on making fewer, better videos. I want to spend more time creating content that helps retirees make smarter decisions, enjoy their retirement more, and avoid some of the mistakes I've seen along the way. And outside of YouTube, I also want to continue exploring other creative things. Because, folks, retirement is about more than just managing your money. It's about building a life you enjoy. It's about staying curious. It's about staying connected. It's about waking up with something to look forward to. And let me say this. Retirement is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a chapter you finally get to write the way you want. There's no boss, no schedule, no rules except the ones that you make for yourself. So folks, if you're retired or you're getting close to retirement, I want to encourage you to try something new. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's traveling. Maybe it's pickleball. Maybe it's making YouTube videos. Maybe it's learning a skill you've always wanted to learn. Just maybe it's starting something you never thought you could do. Don't assume your best years are behind you. Sometimes the next chapter is where the most interesting things happen. Folks, I appreciate you coming along on this journey. I hope you stick around to see what's coming next. Again, thanks for spending some time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.